Brandy Carlisle.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains of majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed your grace on her name and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes true, through liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, until all success be nobleness, and every gain America, God mend thine every flaw, confirm thy soul with self-control and liberty and law. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains of majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed your grace on me, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Disney celebrates America. America the Beautiful is sponsored by
Here with this unmistakable symbol of American freedom, the Statue of Liberty, a gift from France to the U.S. almost 140 years ago. The statue would welcome millions of immigrants to the U.S. for generations, with the promise of a better life. And tonight, something incredibly rare here, our climb all the way up to the torch, up through Lady Liberty's right arm. We take you inside this enduring hallmark of America. On the eve of America's 250th, the sun rising over New York Harbor. On the day we would climb to the very top of the Statue of Liberty. There she stands, Lady Liberty, holding her torch for nearly 140 years now. It is said some 40% of Americans can trace at least one of their ancestors to Ellis Island.
we saw the Statue of Liberty. It was beautiful. It just hugged each
They
other.
were howling and screaming.
free.
We poured through the recordings of the voices, the immigrants who arrived here decades ago.
My mother would say, soon you're going to see the Lady of Freedom.
It was very, very early in the morning at daybreak. We ran out to the deck. And there, it's a sight I will never forget.
The guy who was standing next to me, he says, you see how she's welcoming us?
She would welcome more than 12 million immigrants over 6 decades, from 1892 to 1954, beginning a new life as American citizens. And in the years since, millions more have gone to see her and to imagine the story she tells. On this day, we arrive on Liberty Island long before the visitors do. It is still quiet here, which makes her presence even more profound. Lady Liberty stands 305 feet, 1 inch tall. This gift from the people of France took 21 years to build in a Paris workshop. The people of Paris marveling at the statue that would soon rise above the Parisian rooftops. And when it was finally finished, they carefully took it apart, 350 pieces, packed into 214 crates, and shipped across the Atlantic. For a time, feared lost in a storm, the ship missing for days. She would arrive in the U.S. a month after leaving Paris. A year later, she was towering over New York Harbor. Few could have imagined the history she would witness. Soldiers returning from World War I.
When homecoming doughboys in New York Harbor waved at the Statue of Liberty, she waved back.
FDR marking Lady Liberty's 50th birthday.
The message of liberty which America sends to all the world must be added her message of peace.
Victory in World War II.
Back to the American home, with welcome and well done everywhere.
Decades later, the protests during Vietnam. And on 9/11, the gaping scar, where the Twin Towers once stood behind her. Her first 100 years would take their toll. There was that famous commercial, her plea for help.
I have welcomed people from all nations, all stations of life to our shores, and I gave them a dream of hope, freedom, and opportunity. But now, I need your help. Time and the elements are destroying me.
The donations came, and the American workers did too, building scaffolding to the top of the statue to restore her and to replace her torch. And right there at the top, wearing his trademark bandana, Tony Serassi, whose own grandparents came from Italy. A thumbs up from that American worker.
So this is you on top of the crown?
Yes, it is.
How old were you here?
30?
Clearly not afraid of heights.
No. Look at this picture. If you look down, I used to have lunch at the end of the crane over there. They look like little peanuts of people down there, like little ants.
Oh, that's incredible.
You couldn't wear a harness working on the statue, and I'll tell you why. You were spiking scaffolding. You're working on this 12-inch scaffolding plank.
So you're telling me that you're standing on top of the crown with no harness?
No.
We take him inside the new museum here to find the original torch he helped preserve. It's been a while.
Wow. That is the torch.
When you were up there, you could see that she needed help.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She'd been up there for 100
She's been up
years.
there for 100 years, you know, in the middle of the ocean.
And there was something else Tony did while he was up there.
We remember that photograph
Yes.
of you kissing Lady Liberty.
One of the photographers said, won't you lean over, kiss the head of the statue? I said, okay. He wanted to take a picture. So I did it. I leaned over, I gave her a kiss. All of a sudden, it was everywhere. President Reagan was thanking me on national TV.
Leaning over to place a kiss on the forehead of Miss Liberty. Tony Serassi, the grandson of immigrant Italians, said it was something he was proud to do.
So when you gave Lady Liberty that kiss, you had no harness on?
You couldn't be afraid of heights. You had to be confident.
Can't be afraid with the first kiss.
No, it was worth it.
And like Tony did all those years ago, climbing up to the torch, this time it would be us, climbing to the highest point of the statue. We meet Matt Push, a historian with the National Park Service.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
We make our way through the giant pedestal on which he stands.
This is the way people enter now.
This is the way people enter.
Inside, we begin our journey up. We climb the flights of stairs, surrounded by steel.
We're making our way from that pedestal level up inside the copper statue, David.
Wow, this is just incredible. I mean, this is the first real reveal of sort of the architecture inside. Keeps this standing.
The first part of our journey is to get to her crown, some 265 feet up.
So we're headed up to the crown now.
We're on our way up the double helical staircase up to the crown.
That green robe the world sees on the outside, we notice, looks very different from within.
So this copper patchwork, this is actually the green copper on the outside that everyone else sees.
That's right. The copper is so thin, it's really just like almost 2 pennies in your hand. And the outside has that green patina. The inside we see is dark like a penny. And you can also really see all the rivets that are in each copper piece.
So that green copper on the outside is really the depth of about 2 pennies?
Yeah.
We now climb the last 90 stairs up to the crown. And we are struck by the darkness. There are slivers of light peeking through Lady Liberty's copper robe as we climb the narrow spiral staircase to get there.
Extraordinary.
Welcome to the crown of the Statue of Liberty, David.
Welcome to the crown. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
I mean, it looks so much smaller on the inside. The view.
And just the amazing view that you have here of New York Harbor.
And just to think of the millions of immigrants who came into the harbor, and this is what they saw first.
The French sculptor Bartholdi wanted it that way.
The sculptor was convinced that he wanted the people arriving in New York Harbor to see her face.
Yeah, and he didn't know that, you know, the most immigrants in history were going to come into New York City. That was going to happen years later.
Millions would see her face during some of the most important moments in history. And her robe would hide an engineering feat on the inside.
We're standing obviously inside the crown right now, and you can see the infrastructure that keeps the Statue of Liberty standing all these years.
The oldest iron in the statue is what you have your hand on right now?
In fact, underneath that famous robe, the iron and steel structure designed by the man who built the Eiffel Tower. The first layer, a set of iron beams riveted together, then installing a secondary structure, hundreds of iron bars. And on top of these bars, they would attach all of those pieces of copper, the entire patchwork, piece by piece, the copper skin that would make up her robe. We are now 265 feet up and have 40 feet to go to reach the torch. And we could see our final destination right through these tiny windows.
This is the bottom of the torch right here?
Yeah, what you're pointing at right now is the pendant that sits at the bottom of her torch in flame.
And you're going to take us up to the torch?
That torch is accessible through her right arm, yes, sir.
How many people are actually allowed up through that right arm?
So, nobody.
The National Park Service on this 250th telling us we are the only ones they are taking to the very top, up to the torch, climbing up through her right arm. The park officer unlocking the first metal gate. Our final climb up this narrow, dark passageway, a ladder snaking up through her arm, the iron and steel all around us, and another locked gate. The park police officer unlocking them one by one.
Sean, we're good?
Yeah. Park officer Sean Yu guiding me to the top.
This is incredibly tight to climb up through these final stairs to get to the torch of the Statue of Liberty here. The park police have gone ahead of us to unlock these final doors to get there. Whoa.
And then a glimpse of the sun over New York Harbor. But we had no idea the view we were about to take in.
Gonna maneuver this very small place to turn here in the torch. I've never seen anything like this. The final 4 steps to get to the top of the torch of the Statue of Liberty. Wow. Never seen anything like this. Welcome to New York Harbor. You can hear the ferry pulling off. Wow. This is what all of those immigrants saw as they pulled into the harbor. Standing up there, you feel it immediately, the swaying. One of the things you notice right away up here, when you're standing on the torch of the Statue of Liberty, which they've given so few people access to, are the winds up here. You can actually feel the Statue of Liberty swaying with the wind, and architects designed it that way with that purpose in mind, to withstand the weather all these years. The Statue of Liberty actually sways up to 6 inches to survive the weather. We carefully walk the ledge that surrounds the torch. And just to give you some perspective while we're up here at the torch, take a look over my shoulder here. Lady Liberty's head, you can see where we are with respect to the crown of the Statue of Liberty. And if you actually take a few more steps along with me, there's something else I want to show you, particularly with the 250th anniversary of America now here. Look back down to the tablet she's holding in her hand, and right there on it, July 4th, all those years ago. On her tablet, July 4th, 1776. For generations of immigrants crossing the Atlantic coming here to the United States, this was the first view they would see when they pulled into New York Harbor. The torch of the Statue of Liberty high above the harbor. It was the signal of something, the chance of a new life right here in America. In her nearly 140 years towering over the harbor, she has meant so many things to so many different people. And as we took in the view more than 300 feet up under a brilliant blue sky, we imagined the patchwork of faces coming into this country, a nation of immigrants to this day. And we were heartened by a small group of voices down below, the students we met when we came down. When you look up at the Statue of Liberty, what does she mean to you?
Freedom, liberty, and hope.
I feel like she's like lighting the way for people, and it's very helpful. And we can improve just like as a society.
You think she's still lighting the way?
Yeah.
And we...
"250 years ago, a nation was born from an idea. The idea that every human being could choose their own destiny. That freedom was not a privilege, but a light meant for all. Amid the ocean and the wind, a woman of copper rose against the horizon, liberty enlightening the world. A gesture of fraternity from France, created to celebrate the friendship between two nations and their shared ideals of democracy. Dismantled piece by piece, carried across the Atlantic before standing once more at the gates of New York. For millions of men, women, and children arriving by sea, she became the first face of hope. The promise of a new world and dreams finding within reach. Tonight, through music and light, we celebrate a symbol, a history, an idea that continues to inspire. A torch raised towards the sky, a promise offered to the world. A beacon lighting the way toward the future. And monumental works that make them eternal.